Welcome to this very special edition of the KAJ Masterclass Live, the show which ensures that you profit from your time spent here with experts, either through their industry insights, information, or simply learning from them. And today we have Leon Kammer. He is a leadership confidence coach, and we'll be talking about so many things from him and learn from him. Welcome to the show, Leon.
Thank you, Khudania.
You are welcome. Welcome to the show, Leon. Welcome to India in this online form. And I'm sure not just in India, but a lot of people across the globe will benefit from what we are going to talk about. We'll talk about leadership confidence. We'll talk about a lot of learnings from your life. We'll talk about all that. So, beginning with that, firstly, Leon, if you can share a bit about your journey so that people can learn from that itself and also know a little more about you directly from you.
Absolutely. Do you want me to start about? Do you want me to talk about my journey?
Yes, yes, please.
Sure, sure. So basically I'm born in Kazakhstan, which is in Alma-Ata or Alma-Ati, as some people say it. I'm not sure. I mean, it sort of changes pronunciation. My parents fled Poland in '39, and I was actually born in '44 in Kazakhstan. So. I mean, I was two, so I don't remember hardships, but my mother basically told me it was very, very difficult. But at least I escaped the Holocaust. So, from that point of view, even going there, Siberia. I was born in Kazakhstan. My mother lost a daughter. It was tough for them as a family. Um, After the war, just after the war, we then went to Germany, where I, at about the age of 7, because after the war, Germany was actually a safe place to go because they would. It was like an apologetic um, uh, situation. So it was actually a safe place to go. We went to Stuttgart. At the age of 7, we had an opportunity to go to Australia, and that's where I grew up. So I came to Australia. I was about 7 or 8. It was difficult in those days because it wasn't yet where we had global citizenship. So I was still the foreign kid. It wasn't like there were a lot of foreign people. It was mainly Australian. So without the language at school, there was a bit of bullying. I found my way with a sense of humor and a personality, which kind of turned some of the bullies into friends. So I had to make my own way. My parents were struggling. They were refugees. My father arrived with 11 pounds to Melbourne, Australia. He was struggling. We lived like 4 or 5 families as refugees in one house. So there wasn't a lot of time to receive any attention from my parents. I was struggling and working. So, I'm not saying I grew up unloved, but there wasn't a great deal of interest or attention. So I had to kind of do it alone. And, I found my way. And for some reason, I wanted to be a fashion designer, which I achieved. I started my own brand at the age of 22. That was a short-lived business because I had no business acumen. I then managed to miraculously make it on some TV show, kind of a rock and roll show, started a band. I'm giving it to you very quickly so as not to bore people, but just the journey. And we're still designing. We're still going to fashion school, determined to make it as a designer and start my own brand again. And I had, as they say, my 15 minutes of fame in Australia on that show. I started a brand, and that was successful for about 15 years. So fashion was my thing. Um, that diversified later into a public relations company for about 10 years, which basically I started before I was even ready, but somehow there was some success. It wasn't easy all the way because I wasn't really supported uh, from my parents. They were busy. They were busy just making a living. So I had to do it on my own, as I said. And the next step from PR, there was, at that time, I was already, let's say, now married, 2 young children. and an opportunity came up to market um, nutritional products. It was an American company, nutritional products in Thailand. So we took the risk, and the whole family moved to Thailand. It sounds simple. It wasn't. We arrived in Thailand and we stayed there for about a year, and I was successful in marketing these products. And then the idea was to go back to Australia, but of course, we liked it so much that we moved on to market these products in New York, in Paris, and we lived in each of those places consecutively for a year. When we got to Rome, nobody wanted nutritional products. They wanted to eat pasta. So my protein shakes weren't selling, and consequently, I had to think quickly on my feet. I saw there was an opportunity at the time. This is like before Airbnb to to get into the short-term apartment rental business, the holiday apartment rental business, and I did. And miraculously, we built that up into 500 apartments. We lived in Rome for 10 years. We rented the apartments and rented them out, built a website, eventually employed 9 people. And then Airbnb came along after several years and, did it much better. We decided to move to London. I've been in London. I've been in London for about 12 years. Um, and all those experiences, and there were more, there were a lot of little things on the way. So, was it all easy? No, it wasn't. There were successes and non-successes, but overall, it was thrilling. And some of the things I did before I was ready. I think if we wait until we're ready all the time, we're never ready. Or if we wait for confidence, confidence is not outside us. You do it and you learn on your feet. So, came to London. I thought, hell of a lot of. I was then, came to London. We kept running for a while. We kept running the the apartment rental business in Italy and in various countries in Europe. We kept running that online. That went for several years. And as I say, Airbnb came along. So I took all those experiences at the ripe age of early 70s. And I thought, I was about 70 by then, 69, 70. And I thought, I would love to just coach people with all those experiences that I would love to coach people. So I got my ICF certificate, my coaching my accreditation, and got into it. So today I'm 80. I've got my clients. I'm coaching people, executives, leaders, and I've also added in the 12 years that I've been in London. I've been studying spiritual growth. I've been studying spirituality because I don't believe that just uh, the physical abilities alone, the knowledge of leadership is enough. I think you've got to go within to find yourself. You've got to have both things going to really be a good leader. And the just being the guy at the top isn't working anymore. I mean, that's evident. Just being the guy at the top, shouting orders to others doesn't work anymore. So we have to have some humility. We have to share. We have to care about others as leaders, and obviously, we have to do what we have to do for that bottom line. But at the same time, I think humility, sharing, and caring about others is as important as being the leader of the company.
Right, right. Yes, Leon, thank you for that. Now, you are a leadership, confidence coach.
Yeah,
And you started this at the age of 73.
yeah.
You
And that,
say, yeah,
yeah, yeah.
what is the age to start with leadership in life and business? Because a lot of leaders nowadays do not fit that leadership sort of way, because there is a crisis of leadership. There is this great resignation on, quiet quitting on. So in this backdrop, when do people actually learn about leadership? Are leaders uh, actually Are leaders born, or is it that today's skills will be enough for them? Because it's not working both ways. It's not working, and we are facing a lot of difficulties in our workplaces, in our daily lives, and we are looking for the right kind of leaders today.
Yeah, are leaders born? No, leaders develop themselves from experiences that they in life. You can't buy experience. You can have your master's degree, even your PhD, and so forth. I think experience is the greatest key to becoming a good leader. I think you know gain as much experience as you can with people. Bring some spirituality into your life. Bring some humility into your life. You know, the black and white thing doesn't work anymore for leadership. And when you talk about confidence, confidence is not something that comes from outside you. Confidence comes out. Confidence happens when you start taking the right action. You build confidence as you start taking the right action. And you'll notice that with whatever you do, you just walk that. It's like, how do you walk in a fog? You walk the first 10 meters and then the next 10 meters. So confidence, people think, I'll do that when I'm confident. I'll do that when I'm ready. I'll do that when I've read all the books, and I'll do that when I've done all my homework. That's just that does not create confidence. Confidence is created when you realize inside us innately we are all confident. Innately, we're all confident. The only thing blocking us from our confidence is our own thoughts, what we're telling ourselves. We're creating our own reality. We are creating our own reality. Whatever we tell ourselves, whatever we believe, so too is how we act in the world. So confidence does not come from the outside. It's not something you go shopping for or something you find. It's something you develop as you move forward. And I'm urging everybody to gain as many experience as you can. Don't get caught in a tunnel vision of, if I read this next book and I study what this CEO did. Yes, we can learn from those people, but we are all unique. We're all individuals, and if you become a good human being first. People have a tendency to say, well, if I meet my goal, life will be perfect. No, it won't. There'll always be something. There is no finishing line. This is not the Olympics. There is no finishing line. There's just bettering yourself, creating more humility, becoming a better person. And I think leaders don't see that. Leaders just see, uh, from a hierarchical point of view. I'm the leader. I've got to create this bottom line. This guy's not doing well. It doesn't work that way. Experience life, gain some spirituality, go deep. Don't seek confidence outside of you. It already exists in you. Change your habits, change your belief systems. For things to change, first you must change. That's what makes good leaders.
Right, right, Leon. So, what do these leaders come from? Normally, leaders are supposed to give confidence to people around them. Why is it that they need confidence from you as a leadership confidence coach? Help us understand, what is it that they need your help in?
Well, basically, people, fear is, people have a, can I do this? People question their abilities. Uh, and also, we talk about, I'll talk to you about something called paradigm. So from the day we're born to the minute I'm talking to you right now, we have a story, we have a paradigm, our upbringing, our peer groups, our education. There's a belief system that we've created within that movie. And in that belief system, very often there's a sabotaging factor. And it doesn't mean that you've had bad upbringing. There's a sabotaging factor. Something has occurred within there that's hardwired, something where we tell ourselves, I'm not quite good enough, or I have imposter syndrome. And it's a story we're telling ourselves. And even big CEOs and guys at the top, people at the top, they've all, many of them have that voice speaking to them. Can I really do this? Am I really, can I really handle this position? So they often get into fear. And this comes from the paradigm. This comes from their movie. And what I do is I change that movie by having them realize what qualities they already have and how far they've already come. So they create different habits, they create a different movie, they change their belief system. And that's where confidence comes from. Confidence doesn't come from something on the outside, it's a belief system. And the thought is creating a feeling that they believe. And that's the way they're acting. So for things to change, they must change. And they come to me for confidence, what they think is confidence. Confidence is just a word, but confidence, you either feel confident or you don't feel confident. Confidence is a word that is used for a feeling. And it's usually people have fears, people have imposter syndrome, people think they have no confidence. We all, innately, we all are. When we're babies, we're confident, we don't have fears, we don't have imposter syndrome. That same baby is still in us when we grow up into adults. We're just bigger and we learn how to read and write. But that same confidence is there. It's been marred through the paradigm, through layers over time, layers that we build up or that come from life. And on top of those layers, we veneer the top of that and we say, hi, I'm Leon. And we create this identity. But in there, there's a reality of who we really are, which is the innocence of that baby. And it's in that innocence, in that authenticity, and in that reality that confidence already exists. So I take them down a path of realizing that they're creating their own reality and that they shouldn't see confidence outside, but more from within, more from a spiritual level, if you will.
Right, right. But several of these, leaders, company executives, they come from business schools,
Yeah,
and many a times, and from other walks of life. Many
yeah,
a times, especially when you are young, you want to earn money fast, retire fast. Nowadays, sometimes 25, 30, earlier it used to be 40. I want to become a millionaire and retire. And you talk about that life begins at 80. Help us understand what is the correct path to go, especially for leaders. Is talking about retiring at 30, is it the right way or wrong way? What about experience then? When do you experience life and actually begin with all that experience? Maybe 70, 30, 80. That is where actually the life can begin in the real way.
I think life is an ongoing scenario. I don't think that life should be, I'm going to retire at 30. I mean, it's an individual choice. Obviously, it's an individual choice, but I think a lot of that is marred by the social media. I think a lot of people are intoxicated, by the private jets and the Caribbean islands and the yachts, and that's all a facade. That's an illusion, and those illusions from your own life, those illusions don't last long. When
Right.
you buy that new car, within 3 or 4 weeks or 5 weeks, it's not that you don't enjoy the car anymore, but it's not a thrill anymore. So this retiring at 30, um, I just don't get that. I don't get that. I mean, I've never thought about retirement. I mean, the only thing, the thing that has kept me young is continuously striving, not so much for more, but being interested and being interesting and getting creative and helping others. I mean, to retire at 40, or 30 or 40, what good are you bringing into society? What good are you doing for the world? And if you do manage to get that jet and that boat and that blonde, if you will. Sorry, I'm not being sexist here. It can work both ways. and try to emulate those platforms, which, by the way, most of them are staged and they're an illusion, but yet they create emotions in people of void. I wish I had that. But once they get that, you know, they're not fulfilled within. They have the material goods, perhaps, but that will never, ever be fulfilling. Then they'll need to buy another toy. So they'll be on a constant a conveyor belt of materialism. And that will not create true inner happiness. And I'm not saying one has to be a guru and sit on top of a mountain and meditate. I have no objections against having, a wealthy lifestyle, a great lifestyle, and having everything that you want. So, absolutely, I'm into that. But also go within. Also realize that that's not all there is. What are you going to do with all that wealth? Are you going to share and help others? And I'm not talking about throwing around $100 bills, but are you going to give something back to the world now that you've got all this? Or are you going to buy another plane and another yacht and have another divorce and another settlement? What are you going to do? What are you bringing to the world? What are you bringing to society? How are you helping the world? So I think that retiring at 30 or 40 can be a very selfish, lonely journey.
Right, right. So, what about fulfillment? You use the word called fulfillment. Where do you get fulfillment? If not retiring at 30, 40, then what, where, how did you, because you did so many things in your life,
Yeah.
from one thing to another, to fashion, to wanting to become, another Frank Sinatra, and then, into selling apartments in Rome and all that stuff, before Airbnb can come. So where does fulfillment come? Does it come in stability, or does it come in the millions that you can earn in your early 30s? Did you find fulfillment in your life? Are you living with fulfillment?
I yes, I am, because at this age I've done a lot and I'm doing a lot. Fulfillment comes from, inner peace, from spiritual work, from inner peace. It doesn't mean, so you can be fulfilled spiritually in the back of a Rolls Royce limousine if you want. But if that's all you're seeking, if material wealth is all you're seeking, period, you will never be fulfilled unless you have humility, unless you have compassion, unless you have empathy, unless you're saying every day, what can I do today to make somebody else feel good? What can I do today? Whether it starts with a smile to the girl that's giving you coffee, when you're buying your takeaway coffee, making her day. How are you doing today? You will be fulfilled when you share something with others. Now, it's not about sharing your material wealth, sharing yourself, doing something for society. That's real fulfillment. My coaching fulfills me through helping others. So, um, am I a guy that doesn't like nice cars and nice things? No, I love them. But true fulfillment comes from, what can I, who can I touch today? Who can I make happy today? Who can I call to say, how are you doing today? True fulfillment, it's a journey. Life's a journey. It's not like, well, when I'm 30, I'm going to retire. I'm going to get my yacht. I'm going to get my plane. I'm going to get, my Victoria's Secrets model, because, that's what Leonardo DiCaprio does, and I will be fulfilled. I give you a personal guarantee that that won't happen. Those things may be achieved, but fulfillment doesn't come with that. It's short-lived.
Right, right,
There's
Leon.
never an end, there's never an ending. You keep going, you keep sharing, you keep doing, you keep creating, you stay interested, you stay excited, you you find joy. And joy can be found by caring about other people. It's the most important number one factor is sharing with others whatever you have. If it's a smile, if it's humility, whatever it is, it's circular. It comes back to you. It gives you joy. When you give others joy, you get joy, and you can have that joy whether you've got your private plane or whether you don't have your private plane. The thing is to always remember that. And the other thing is a daily basis to have appreciation for whatever you have. You can always find the diamond in the rough to appreciate. I appreciate this cup of coffee. I appreciate the good night's sleep I had. I appreciate that I can breathe today. I appreciate that I can look at the sun. I appreciate my apartment. I appreciate my friends. It can be little things. Appreciation is what gives you a great deal of fulfillment, because by appreciating, you're telling the universe, you're telling the cosmos that you appreciate it. You appreciate being alive. And that's a much bigger goal than retiring at 30 with your toys.
Wonderful, wonderful. There is much to learn from you, Leon, and I'm sure a lot of people would like to learn more about you, from you, be your client, and learn about leadership. So, what is the best way for them to connect with you?
You can book a call on, you can go on my website, Leon Kammer, Leonkammer. Oh, sorry, Leon Kammer Coaching. I'm giving you my email address.
Right.
They can either email me direct, or if you go leonkammercoaching.com, leonkammercoaching.com, LEONKAMM for Mary, coaching.com, or they can email me direct, leonkammer88@gmail.com, and I'll be happy to have a chat with them to see if I'm the right fit for them, whatever they're seeking in their lives.
Wonderful. With this, it's a wrap on this very special edition of the KAJ Masterclass Live. Thank you so much indeed for joining us.
Thank you.